This is Dad Mentality. I am Rodney Glover. I'm your host. So we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves.
Hello. Welcome to Dad Mentality. I'm your host, Rodney Glover, a.k.a. the One. I'm so happy to be here again to do another episode with my friends, my fellas, my colleagues. I'm start with, I don't do it by myself, so I got my man Mike Alban, a.k.a. Al Beezy. What's up, Al Beezy?
Hi, fellas.
Good, man. And I got also my boy. We've been together since we was 4 years old. My man, Vance Robs, aka Coach. What's up, Coach?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today?
I'm doing good.
Wow.
Good, blessed. Also, we got producer Everett Street. What's up, producer Ev? How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. What's happening?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, man. Another day, another happy week. We get to come together, and I really needed this week, so I'll get into that. But let's start like we start every week, which is with our Twitch mental health check-in. Here at Dad Mentality, we believe mental health is important. You should always check in with somebody, even yourself sometimes. So, fellas, who wants to start this week's mental health check-in?
I started. This week wasn't bad. I would probably say I'm still hovering around the 7.5 mark. I've been that way for about 3 weeks. Kind of stuck in a funk at work. Got some major deadlines that are coming up this week. Which I don't think I'll have an issue hitting. It's gonna be a long week for me though. At work, and got a chance to go on a date with my wife yesterday. Went to a pretty good place in Annapolis, Maryland. Really good food. I think it's called True Food or something like that. It's over at Annapolis Boulevard. It was pretty decent. I mean, it had teriyaki burgers and Peruvian burgers and edamame ravioli. So it should be right up Alban's
New
food place. Huh? Yeah.
New exploration. I don't know if Alban sent it to all of us, but he sent me a picture of him with I think it was Ethiopian food or something like that.
Yeah. Nigerian food. So yeah, that's the next spot. I think we got a spot up in Baltimore that we're gonna try and go to. That's it's an African place too. So had that last week, and I think definitely got back into working out, which was a good thing. You know what I mean? It actually relieves a lot of stress. You know what I mean? So just trying to get in, the best physical shape over the next 6 weeks. Got a birthday coming up, be 45, in June. So Juneteenth, by the way, just to let y'all know.
For their birthday.
Yeah, holiday, baby. Yeah, my birthday a federal holiday, so always know that. Can't forget it. So yeah, man, it's 7.5. I'm really trying to plug away. Got a wife is under a lot of pressure right now, getting things together for her business. So it's just, just the day to day, and with school ending, problems coming up, and all types of stuff with the family, extended family, got a bunch of things going on. Alban, you should know about that. You should be right around the corner from those things too. So next couple of weeks should be relatively busy. So
all right, cool beans. Alban, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna go with a 6. So I'm gonna start off with, we just had prom last night. My son and my daughter just did prom. That was good. They had a good time. Work still sucks. That's reliable. So I'm good with there. Had another friend pass away. Was it Thursday or Friday? From cancer. Also, like, it was basically 6 of us that through high school. All of us came from different areas. I lost my boy a couple months back from a heart attack. He was 40. And then my friend Kobe, who just passed away, I think he was 38. from cancer. So now, like, I was talking to my buddy who's going to be on the show today. You know, these were the innocent ones of the group, so it was pretty big.
Hmm.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, for sure. You'll be in my prayers, Alvarez.
What's his name?
Kobe.
Not the gentleman who passed away.
Kobe.
Oh, you
Toby.
said Kobe.
Kobe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely keep him and his family in our prayers, man. And you
For
also,
sure.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, we were supposed to have the Runway Boys come on here today, but unfortunately, he is one of Alban's close friends, who's also friends with the gentleman who passed away. So, I'm thankful that you're here, Alban, because I know it was going to be tough with that. But, so he passed away from cancer. How long did he know? Was it like one of those things where he knew he had cancer? Okay. All right.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah.
But was he expected
He's
to
been
live
battling it for a while.
It was just a touch and go for a while, like you said, a while.
I knew about it personally for a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe less than a year, but it was still about a year.
Yeah, that kind of concerns me because I have a friend who hasn't been to the doctor in 18 years. And maybe
I know.
They need to go see a doctor just to, double check, because I don't want to hear no story, we coming on the episode and then find out, all the activity you've had back there, you could have ass cancer or something like that. I don't want anybody to anything to happen because of that.
Yeah, man, honestly, I wish there was a way that I mean, I do I do have someone in my life now that's pushing me more to do it, and I still slack. I still bullshit on it. I need to. I just, man, I'm always like, do I want to take the time out of my life, which is a busy life anyway, to actually make a doctor appointment and then have to be referred and to all these people, and then to find out, the negative news, or
You
just
want
fucking
to get a physical, man. Just start with a physical before you start worrying about you dying, or you got to be referred to someone.
Yeah.
And remember, referrals, I mean, in all honesty, Albans, you really just want to get your basic checkup, right? You know what I mean? You ain't at the stage you ain't at nearly the level of being Rodney, because we're 4 or 5 years ahead of you. But like, I mean, in a month, I gotta go through the full gambit. You know what I mean? So I gotta go through colonoscopy. I'm turning 45, so I gotta make sure that I'm checked. You know what I mean? And make sure everything's checking right. So
I told my doctor she got to come up with a better way, because I'm not the finger in the butt thing ain't working for me. So y'all got to figure out. It's so much science now that y'all got to figure out a better way. She did tell me that she did my blood and my pee and stuff like that. She told me that you don't have the danger signs of me having to do that now. She told me that at 40, but
wait till 45.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, she got to come. I'm still, but she had 5 years to come up with a better way. I'm gonna tell her the same damn thing. So
that's my thing. Like 6 years ago, I had to go to a fucking urologist, and he's like, we could do two things. He's like, we could either, and I didn't like his office. First off, it was like all family pictures and shit like that. It was really weird. And then he's like, we could do two things. We could give you a referral to go get X-rays, or I could do it here with my fingers. And his trash can is full of rubber gloves. And I'm like, man, I'll give me the referral. I never went back. That right there did it for me.
Once you pass kidney stones or something, man, like that's why you went to a urologist. I mean, urologist is mean, bruh. Like, don't get it twisted. I at one point in time in my life, I had kidney stones.
Me too.
So, like, if you go through that test, that test had tears rolling out my eyes.
What test? I don't remember the test. I had kidney stones. I get a test. I mean, passing the kidney stone.
Passing the kidney stones is fine, but they actually, if they really trying to figure, I was younger, so I was in my early 30s when it happened. So that was kind of a trigger. Like, why are you passing kidney stones in your 30s? So like literally, they had to check prostate. They had to check my urinary tract. They had to check all of that, and that joint was brutal.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
talking
he was
about
like talking
brutal.
about checking my
Without
prostate.
getting descriptive, it was brutal, and it wasn't going from the back. You know what I mean? It was brutal.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, it wasn't going from that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was still
Kidney stones
definitely.
ain't nothing to play with. That joint, man, that joint was crucial. So.
What, kidney stone?
Yeah, passing that.
Yeah, and it's a scary thing.
Be on morphine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, me on that too.
All right, well, let's not get more into this conversation. hey, Everett, producer Ev, you want to give your mental health check-in for me, please?
Before we do anything, I'm dying. I can do this here with my fingers. It's insane.
What'd he say?
I can do it here with my fingers.
Here, your fingers. I'm still confused. What?
Yeah, the doctor with a trash can full of fucking rubber gloves.
He said that. We let that go right fast. That's insane.
No, it was. I'm telling you, it was traumatizing. Dude had this big wood shelf behind him with all his family photos on it, and his wife and his kids. I was like, this is a motherfucker that has a secret obsession with shoving fingers in people's ass, and I'm not going to be the next victim.
Hey man.
Hey,
Anyway, man, my my week was about I'll say about 6. It was okay. It wasn't nothing too eventful. Nothing bad happened. Just nothing happened for real. It was just another week. Went to work, came home, did the same thing I always do. That's about it.
Okay. All
right. Good stuff, Everett.
Hey, man. So, all right. So my week. Now I'm gonna tell you, my week started off horrible. I can't even give a rating on how bad it was. And if I remember, I told y'all a while back that everything was going so good. I know that life is full of peaks and valleys and this, that, and other. And I knew, I was like, okay, well, right now I'm going through a valley because ain't nothing working out for me. My son had an altercation at school where I was so upset that I took him out of the school. He has not been back to school since Wednesday. And that until the school fixes that situation, he's not going to go back. Because I told him, my son has had an issue with a kid who I'm kind of getting the impression that has some type of disability, but I don't know. But before, it was just like little stuff like he pushed him in a line or something like that, or this, that, and the other. So this day, Wednesday, I get a phone call and I get to the school and and this is the grandparents went and picked my son up because I was working. And when they picked him up, the grandparents called me and was like, yeah, you need to come up here. So I come up there and I'm being told that, my son was playing with another young man. The kid comes up and was like, they were apparently playing with a Switch or something, or some kind of Game Boy or something like that. And they told him no, because he's rude and does things all the time that they don't like. They don't hang out with him. So they continue playing. And then my son is getting ready to leave. This is over. It's like 15 minutes later. My son's getting ready to leave from school, and all out of nowhere, the kid tackles him and then jumps on top of him and starts punching him. So, they said my son was punching back, but it's still the fact that the kid tackled him out of nowhere and then started punching on him. And then when I went to the school, I'm like, so, yeah, I'm done with this. And I didn't get the principal because the principal had dealt with this kid last year, whatever. I got the vice principal. Vice principal starts telling me all this stuff. Oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. And I was like, nah, we're past trying. At this point in time, it's elevated. It was one thing when it was just pushing or something like that. But now this kid has tackled my son and sat on top of him, started punching him. I was like, yeah, I'm not letting this go any further. Like, there's no next, if it happens again, because what's next, So I was like, yeah, this ain't working. I was like, yeah. So when y'all figure it out, call me and I'll bring him back to school. So I have a meeting on Monday now with the father, which I don't know how this is going to work out either. But I'm still sitting with the school like, yeah, y'all have to come up with something that's going to make me feel like my son is safe, that he doesn't have to fight in third grade. There's no reason a third grader should have to fight to get his education. You know what I'm saying? If this kid can't control himself, then y'all need to do something. Like something.
You're meeting the father on Monday. You're meeting the father
on Monday. Yeah, on Monday.
All right, you tackle him in the parking lot, and then you sit on that motherfucker. And you start punching on him, and asking him how he liked it.
Well, that was my initial thought, but now I'm at a different place now, so that's where I started. I'm just telling you about my 6.
All right.
So in the middle of that, well, not my 6, my 5, where I was at. No, but then in the middle of that, I'm getting ready to go to this marriage conference or relationship conference, and I knew the devil was busy because now me and my wife are arguing. We're not arguing about my son. We're arguing about, I can't even remember what it was about, but it was definitely stupid. And neither one of us wanted to give it up, and this, that, and other. We spent that next 3 days arguing. So now we fast forward to the marriage conference. We leave for the marriage conference, and we're in the car. We drove 3 hours to Philly, and we argued the entire 3 hours. So we finally get there. We start the marriage conference, and I got a space in between our seats. You know, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to tell them how upset I am about everything that's going on. And let me tell you, I left that marriage seminar at a 9.5. Really changed everything. It was everything I needed and everything that was important. The speaker was this guy. His name is Preston William II. He is a pastor out of Florida, and he was amazing. He was riveting. I'm telling you, he caught me with the things that he was saying and got my attention immediately. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you fellas about this week is the things that we did talk about in the marriage counseling, and talk about, you know, some of our relationships, and see how you guys feel about it, see what you think, and tell me, you know, just basically your opinions about the views. So, all right, y'all fellas ready?
Yep.
All right, so one of the things that he talked about is most arguments are because of communication and understanding. Now, I kind of already knew that, and I mean that wasn't a big new thing for me. But would y'all agree that the majority of conversations or arguments between you and somebody in a relationship, most of them start with either bad communication, no communication, or some kind of miscommunication?
Miscommunication, 100%.
Yeah, I definitely think it's miscommunication. I think sometimes we assume where somebody's coming from on a situation.
Absolutely, yeah. Assumption is one of the things he definitely talked about.
Mm-hmm.
He called assumptions the stone in front of the grave.
Yes.
So, and he said that, you know, when people assume anything, man, I can't remember exactly, but this dude had a quote for everything. But it was you know, when you assume something, it is the lack of thought of something like that. He was like, because you're not, or the lack of trying, you're not trying. Because in order to assume something, you're not even trying. You're not trying to get an answer. You're just assuming. You know,
right?
You're just assuming. So, you know, I found that you know, that I agree with him. But here's one of the things that he said that I agree with also, and I want to know how you feel. He said the basic need of a woman is security, and the basic need of a man is to feel significant. What do you think about that?
I think that society has made women be able to feel secure without a man. And I think that it is harder for men to provide women that security now.
Because they feel like they can get it on their own, or they feel like they need a man for that.
Yeah, and then that leads to men feeling insignificant.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. That was probably one of the biggest things that led to my divorce. Like, knowing how much I busted my ass, and then being told every day that I didn't do shit. And now, I mean, she did take the high road, but she really did take the high road and realized like, damn, your dad did a lot more than I ever really thought. So just the small shit. We're like, oh, hey, good job doing that, good job doing this, or that. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I kind of agree with the security thing too, because yeah, they need to know that, but they should know that at a certain point. I mean, if they plan being with you, they should feel secure at that point already. Just because you're
Yeah,
comfortable
man.
doesn't mean
Yeah,
you're
I'm
not
with you.
secure anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
but
with you. I think women want the security, but they also want the control too in a lot of
break that
situations.
down for me more. I want you to explain that.
So it's like this. It's like they want men to lead, but lead in their way, right? And unless you have a wife that or a husband that's fully submitted to God, like it's hard to do. It's hard to lead in somebody else's way, right? If you guys aren't aligned in faith, so um, first I got to be aligned with God in order to lead my wife anywhere. Because
Absolutely.
me as a regular person, she's not gonna follow because we're two different human beings. But if I'm doing it the way God wants me to do it, then she'll follow.
Okay.
So
Now, go ahead.
go ahead.
Not because I got something for that. Just something that he even brought up is that if once you say "I do" in front of God or say "I do," and your husband in your eyes is not leading in that way that you think he should be, or not leading like you said, you want him to lead the way you want him to lead. His answer to that was, then you're trying to be God.
Agreed.
God is in control. You're not in control. God is in control. And sometimes, and this was one of the things that he said that really meant something. He said, as the man and the woman in the relationship, you have to stay liquid. And that was one of the key things, because staying liquid, so liquid water, like water can move rocks. Water can break things down. Water is going to get around and do what it needs to do no matter what. And if you're staying liquid, when something gets in your way, just because you have to move around it doesn't mean you didn't chip it. Just because you had to go a different direction to get somewhere doesn't mean that your problem is not being worked on.
Right.
So what he said is, when you say "I do," you have to, as a male or female, is that you can't control it. You have to be liquid. You have to be flexible. You have to let God do what he's going to do. For instance, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm not even close to being the same person I was when I married my wife. I'm not at all that same guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally different. I'm way more God fearing. I'm way more doing a lot of things, but I do feel like this did center me more to relying on God, because I believe that I made a few mistakes. I have been making a few mistakes that I learned in this seminar, which I'll go into more later. But staying liquid is the thing that they said, and they also said that the woman has to be patient and let God work, because he said he was a pastor, and there was no way you would have thought he would be a pastor when he first got married. His life was totally different. Everybody changes. Like, we all are going to change. There was one thing that's definitely going to happen is change. I mean, Albans, I'm sure you're not the same person.
No, hell no. I was a piece of shit when I was younger. So I definitely have come a long way.
Yeah, but you got to be, but his thing is you got to be patient and let God work his work, because, through any God is able to do anything. So, you can't do everything that God can do. Nobody can. So even as your wife, you have to be patient and let God work. So that was just one of the things. And let me say this just in case if anybody at the seminar is listening to the podcast, this is my interpretation. So, if it doesn't agree with what your interpretation is, then, sorry for you. But anyway, next what's the next thing? Okay, so here was one of the biggest things that I learned that he talked about. We have to stop asking of marriage what God never designed it to give. Okay, and then he gives 3 things that we have to stop expecting. And the first thing is perfect happiness. So how do you feel about that?
When you're relying on somebody else, it depends on where you're looking for your happiness in. You cannot look for happiness in your marriage. You gotta look for happiness in God. So, and then that will translate to your marriage. And nobody on this earth is going to be perfect at anything, especially 2 people together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, nothing's perfect. Nothing. If there's anything made by man, it ain't perfect.
Yep.
If there's anything, and even a relationship, you have 2 people who are flawed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We're all flawed. So you got 2 people who are flawed coming into a relationship that's going to be flawed.
Exactly.
But I mean, a lot of women or a lot of people believe that, there's a such thing as the perfect marriage. And
no.
I mean, I think the funny thing is that I think that that's that definition of a perfect marriage is it's not a clear definition in every relationship. Like one person may think that mine and my wife's marriage is perfect, whereas we may think somebody else's marriage may be perfect, and we have no idea what's going on in anybody's marriage besides our own, right? Mm-hmm. So what can be seen as an outward appearance of marriage, it's not something that you can really say, hey, they have a perfect marriage, or I have a perfect marriage. I mean, if it was perfect, then it would be easy, and it's not easy. Marriage as a whole is not easy. So,
and also the relationship isn't whole. So I mean, we keep on saying marriage, and I'm gonna try to stop saying it because it is about relationship. Any relationship there's no perfect relationship. Period.
Nope.
No perfect relationship. No. There's not going to be a time where anything can be perfect. So, I mean, the best thing you might have is a perfect relationship is when you're first born and your mom is breastfeeding you. That'll probably be the closest thing to a perfect.
Yeah, when your child is born,
we can't do that. But other than that, that's it. But but that's even for a time. But even, relationship between parents, relationship between friends, everything, nothing can be perfect. So the other thing they said that, marriage can't give you, that God never, but here's the other thing, that God never designed it to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is that it's never been designed to be conflict free. So you're going to have conflict. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have issues. There's going to be things that come up. There's no way that, people can have a relationship that's not going to have conflict. I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I asked my grandfather for the first time this past year because I wanted to talk to him after my divorce when he came up from Florida. He's 82, I believe. And him and my grandmother, I never seen him fight. He worked full time as a store manager for a big company down in Florida. She was stay at home. She raised, her grandchildren. She didn't work, so she raised the grandchildren, her children, all 3 of them. Me and my sister, my cousins. I mean, we were assholes to her too. And he would come home on lunch breaks, have lunch ready for him, all that. Never fought. He would come home, cook, work on the cars. Finally, I had the balls because he's like the man's man. Like, you don't bring up emotions around him. And I brought it up. I was like, how did you make your marriage of 60 some years work so perfectly and never fight? And he turned so quick to me. He's like, no, our relationship was perfect because we made it through our fights. Like he said straight up, he's like, we argued. He's like, there's a time and place for it, but we argued, and that's what made us stronger. Now, I mean, honestly, they still sit on the couch. She'll make a joke about her. She'll give him a little, little smack to the chest, and they laugh. It's just like they're freaking teenagers. It's freaking crazy how they do it. But it's just like he said, he's like, the only perfect marriage is the arguments that you make it through and that you are willing to work on.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally agree.
Another saying he said in there, and I think I posted it on Facebook, was that blessings are wrapped in conflict. So
agreed. Totally agree on that.
Yeah, blessings are wrapped in conflict. And I mean, there's so many different things that you can discuss. And I mean, one thing he even discussed there, that he was divorced. He was divorced, and he thought he was losing his ministry because he got a divorce and had to go and sit. It took him 3 years sitting with God and trying to get himself right before he could even get in another relationship and get it right. But he said there are situations that, there's still situations where people are there for you to be with you for a term. Like some things you just have to, you can't stay in a relationship. You can't. I mean, some things happen that are just, that wasn't designed. So, but sometimes you get in relationships with the people that you weren't supposed to get in a relationship with. So that was one of the things that he also said too. But to go back to the other third thing that he talked about was idolatrous obsession. Now, when he said that, the first thing I thought he meant it was that you worship something else, like money, TV, this, that, and the other, and things like that. And that was the easy answer. But then he broke it down even further. So when you hear idolatrous obsessions, what are those things that you think of?
I think it's exactly what you said. Like, I mean, that would have been the first thing that triggered my thought was money. You know what I'm saying? Some form of, job, or, some hobby or whatever. That was the very first thing that I thought of. So I'm not sure. I'll be interested to understand what he meant by that.
Albans, you think the same thing?
Yeah.
So now those things are included, but he also said this, because the thing is, just because you have money doesn't mean that you're obsessed with it, or
Agreed.
You have a car or you have a house or whatever the case may be. But one of the things he said that is dangerous is when you put your person, when you expect for your relationship or your significant other you put them on such a pedestal that you put them before God, that you put them up there and want them to do what God is capable of doing, not what they're capable of doing. If you put that much, and this is even for women and men with women, because men, they have we get this wife and we get this woman, she's so beautiful, she's gorgeous, you're everything to me, I love you. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't put that person before God when you're looking for them to answer what God has to answer. When you're looking for, your husband to be your all, or even, you can ask your husband which way to go, or, you're trying to figure out where you want to go in life or where you're supposed to be, or whatever it's going to be. You can ask your husband, but if you put him in a place where he could be wrong, like you can be wrong.
Right.
You just, you need to go to God. Like God has to be your number one. And that's one of the things you had brought up earlier, Vance, about, leading you. God has to be number one in the situation, and then from there you can lead the other person.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like it really
yeah.
is, depending on who you are, right? You know what I mean? Because I literally have struggled with that for a long time, like putting my wife on a pedestal, and ensuring that she was satisfied. You know what I mean? In everything. And some of that has led to, you know what I'm saying, missteps in decision making, by not telling her no in that situation, or by, you know what I'm saying, accepting certain things that I knew probably shouldn't accept it. You know what I mean? Because it was in my spirit not to. And I think that has caused issues before in the past. And that's definitely something that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? Just personally. You know what I mean? Because every good husband wants to ensure that his wife's needs are met, both her needs and her wants. And I think that oftentimes we kind of stray as men when it comes to the wants of our significant other or whatever relationships. So I think focusing on God and allowing Him to guide that path is a difficult role for a good husband. You know what I mean? Especially when a wife is involved, because believe it or not, the one person on this earth that can get a man to do what they want him to do is his wife.
Hence
for
Adam
the
and
most
Eve.
part.
Hence Adam and Eve.
It is. I mean, that's why Adam bit the apple, because his wife gave it to him, right? You know what I mean? So even though he knew it was wrong, he still did it. So, like, that's the power that, you know what I'm saying, wives or girlfriends or whatever, when it comes to male-female
Always
relationships.
remember, once again, it isn't just that, because you could have your mom on that, you can have your dad on that pedestal.
Yeah.
You can have a friend on that pedestal. So, I mean, like I said, this is still goes to all relationships. It's not just it's not just marriages, you know. Even your girlfriend. Like, you could have a hot new girlfriend that you put on that pedestal and want her
that you fix Nigerian and Ethiopian food with. You know what I mean? Those people.
you can put her on that pedestal that you know,
even though she's trying to get you to go to the doctor. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, we you know, I mean, Albans, how you feel about that? What do you think about you know, have you ever put somebody on that pedestal that you feel that you may have given them more power than they should have or deserve? Because this can go back to that power conversation we had too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably almost 17 years of it. Yeah.
Really?
And then at the end of it, took a lot.
Albans.
Yeah. To keep it short and sweet, I'm not going to throw a dollar amount out there, but it took a lot. And then you know what I mean? I did a lot more than I knew I should have, but also I fucking lost my soul because of it. Like, I just kind of was like, fuck, I became a empty shell of a person, and now I'm seeing that you're right. You really, and I don't go to church. I don't have a religion that I believe in. I just know there's something out there more, and I do believe that there is a higher power. So there is a God.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that you do have to take care of yourself and put trust in to whoever or whatever, or you know, whatever you believe in, that you're going to make the right decision. And then, I mean, so far everything, I mean, it took me a year to kind of get myself together, but I also, like I said, I don't go to church. I don't have a religion, but I do believe in a higher being.
That's all right. Well, once God puts that right person in your path, it'll probably start with the doctor, and then next will be the church. I'm gonna keep that prayer out there for you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a church, right. I don't really care. So I'm gonna give just a quick synopsis on that. I really don't care what God you praise or believe in. As long, because to me they all got the same background, which is what Jesus said: do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Don't do nothing you don't want to have back to you. It's that simple. You can take the whole Bible and the whole Quran and the whole whatever, and it still goes down to one simple phrase. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. And
take care of the poor.
And if you do that, but that's the same thing. I mean, poor, rich, whoever, you were poor, you would want somebody to feed you. If you was this, you would want somebody to do that. And I mean, that to me is the basis of all religions, no matter how you want to break it down. Everything else after that is just kind of minutia, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. But
I agree.
So, all right, what was I at? All right, so idolatrous obsession. So and I'll be honest with y'all, and I'm just telling you the truth. I believe I did do that. I definitely put my wife on a pedestal where I wanted her to solve. I wanted her to solve problems that she couldn't solve, that weren't even her problems, and deal with things that I should have been given to the Lord. So that's one of the things I came out of this about is recalibrating my relationship with God. And Vance, you'll be happy. I'll tell you a lot of stuff. I decided that I also realized that I was using alcohol to replace God. That whenever I got an issue or I've gotten a problem, I would drink instead of praying. And I realized that now that's not what I want to do anymore. And I left that there. Now I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say I'm not going to drink.
Nobody said no. The thing about it is nobody ever said that you got to.
Yeah. But I'm saying I'm just saying I'm not going to say I'm not going to drink ever. But I'm saying that I'm going to consciously not drink to replace God. Like when I'm going through something, I need to pray. I need to get on my knees. I need to talk to God and work that out. And that's something that I realized out there that I came back different. I'm different now on that subject, But I mean, it's something that I'm still going to work on, and I'm still not perfect. But I've become recalibrated to really start thinking different. I mean, it was like I said, this was, and I should have known something because the devil was messing with me so much before this. Because it was almost a point I didn't want to go. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go, but I realized now that was the reason why. But to move on to the next thing.
I'm proud of you for that, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's real.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be because you always, you hint it to me and stuff like that. But anyway, keep it moving.
And that's not to say I don't drink because I do drink, but as long as it doesn't, you know what I'm saying, like you said, replace what is important.
Okay. Yep. So next would be next one of the big things that he said is that because I brought up the fact that everybody's changing and we're all changing, and he said the best thing that in a marriage, in order to keep a marriage healthy, is that you have to be a student of each other. And this kind of hit me. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know I'm a student of my wife, but I also feel like I haven't allowed her to study me. Like I keep a lot of my stuff to myself or whatever, or I don't tell her, I don't help her, you know what I'm saying, to be better, to get to know me, or I don't know. I just found it like to be a student of your spouse or your husband or whatever, or to be a student of your wife. What does that sound like to you, Vance?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's kind of like recognizing pretty much everything that she brings to the table, and two, recognizing her human elements, right? So like I know we took a marriage counseling a marriage ministry class a couple years back. And I mean there was a bunch of tools in that class that's kind of identifying like the trends that your spouse has. So I know that certain times of the month she's going to be in certain moods and there's certain ways I need to approach her. I also know that there are certain things that I can do to push her buttons to piss her off, right? So I had to learn her, and this goes to being a student, when to be able to control me pushing certain buttons, right? And she has to do the same. The one thing that has come out of it is pretty much an enhanced communication. Like a lot of times when me and my wife would get in heated discussions, I don't even say arguments anymore. Oftentimes to me, the discussion or the argument was more serious than what it was to her. So I would take it all the way to the extreme, like, man, she dogging me, or she about to leave me, or she about to do this. When in actuality, it was the exact opposite. She was grateful that we even had the discussion, that I even laid my feelings out on the table. I give you a clear example of
don't tell me we lost them. Did I lose everybody? Anybody else here?
you.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Rodney.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you now. Camera's paused, but you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You good?
Okay. Yeah, I mean I mean, just recent. You know what I'm saying? We had a situation where I had taken leave for a specific thing with my wife, and when I took that leave, did I freeze again?
Nah, you're here for me.
Okay.
Your camera's a little behind, but yeah.
I got you. All right. I literally took leave, and then we were supposed to take care of some business things, and I was pissed because it wasn't even on her radar. And literally in the past, I would have been pissed about that for days. But all I did was like, hey, look, communicate it. I took this leave because of this particular situation, so we could do this specific task. And like we went back and forth on it. And she was like, you know what? Because you communicated it to me, we still gonna get that task completed. And that like made the world, you know what I'm saying, like turn around for me just in the communication aspect in that particular relationship. I am really good at communicating how I feel to other people. My wife is really the hardest one that I have to communicate, and it shouldn't be that way. It should actually be the opposite.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And oftentimes I think that as men, we don't want to let our wives down. I don't have no problem letting Rodney down. I don't have no problem letting Albans down. I could care less, right?
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? Like, Albans, screw you. Like, if I can't make the show, I can't make the show. But, you know what I mean? If I can't do something for my wife, it really bothers me. You know what I mean? So, or if
I'm sure that's a lot of men's problems. You're not the only one.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Just to make a long story short, yeah, I do agree that, you know what I'm saying, the communication piece and all of that is key to it. Hey, tell them bye. Tell them we said bye, Al, man.
Bye, little Mikey. Bye,
Mikey. And tell him drive safely.
He can't hear. He don't got the headset on.
I know, but we still gonna talk trash. You know what I mean? Go back and look at the recording.
I don't want you guys to get involved with it either.
Don't whisper. What is he saying?
No, we're gonna keep it going. All right. I want to get his opinion on this. I don't want to let him get away with it, but you know, we'll go ahead and
I don't think it's right.
His son trying to go out there.
Trying to talk about give me $100.
Yeah, he's trying to get some money.
I just got plugged.
Man, you back?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm back.
Yeah, I wanted to know when you say studying your partner or significant other, how does that look to you?
Studying
Yeah, studying.
or I don't know. I kind of took it a little different. I was saying that I feel like us as men don't show enough emotion and shit like that, and don't want to talk about our right. So for them to study us is really hard because we don't give up the information. We take a lot more in, and if I can kind of dwell on it, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. That's how I felt too. But then I also thought about, I'm a pretty easy study. I don't. My test got 2 questions on it: Are you naked, and are you awake? That's it. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Yeah, I can pretty much tell your mood right away, and like I said, that's just playing on the Xbox and shit. When you start apologizing, that's when I was like, all
Yeah,
right, this is gonna be a bad night.
I don't even. And then the awake one is optional. That's an optional question.
the way. Oh no, oh no,
Are you naked is anytime she's naked, that's an A on my test. You know what I'm saying? Whether she's awake, that can be optional. But I still feel that I'm pretty easy, even though if you want to. But the thing is, they want to know about your core and your feelings, and
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
the hearts.
That's the whole studying part. That's what I was talking about. The studying part. That is like, I mean, it could be something petty as shit. Like the words like, man, this son of a bitch took my damn parking spot this morning. You that brood on you all fucking day. 8 hours of your shift. That
Yeah.
Something petty like that. You go home, you take that shit with you, and then you snap, and then all of a sudden, why do you got an attitude? But then you're like, well, damn, it'd be kind of petty for me to say, well, someone took my parking spot this morning, so I don't know, I just had a bad day.
Yeah, but the funny thing is it probably wouldn't be petty. Like the fact that you tell her,
you relate.
Yeah, like the fact that you tell her is what she's looking for.
I agree.
Which is crazy because you and I, Rodney, probably would laugh that off, right? You know what I mean? Like you really let that hold you the whole day.
Oh yeah, don't tell me that.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? But in their world, it's literally opening up and saying how you feel about something. Yeah. Like I'll give you a prime example. Like the other day, me and my wife, we got into a discussion about, what I'm saying, just credit cards and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, and literally she asked me the simplest question that I was like, oh, I can answer that question. She was like, well, why did you think that was okay? That's all I wanted to know. Like, that's all she wanted to know. And I explained it to her, and she was like, okay, now I understand your thought process. So now she wasn't not upset, but she understood why I did what I did. And I think that went longer, that moment in the discussion, the heated discussion, is what kind of turned the table, because I did say actually what I was thinking, whereas in the past I would have been like, because I felt like it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not what they're not what most people are looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, but it still goes back to, being liquid, and you got to be patient,
Yeah.
Sometimes, it takes a long time to get there, and there's other little aspects we could talk about, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next thing that he discussed, which was, hey.
Why you keep taking the headset off every time his kids come into play?
I don't know. Tell him to keep the headset on.
Yeah.
Talk to him. We good. We want to hear the conversation too.
We do. Yeah. He probably like, don't ever wear that prom dress again.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Looked amazing in the prom pictures. Yeah,
I didn't see the prom pictures, but he keep taking the headset off every time his kids come into play.
Yeah, we want to hear the conversation too.
We do.
We don't,
my bad, man. I got my youngest not wanting to go back to her mom's house. My oldest two are telling me bye, and then it's a fucking mess, man. That my youngest is fighting with her mom, and she's using me as a scapegoat, and then it makes her mom feel like
Well, at
either
least you
one of them turning her
recognize
again.
that.
Huh?
At least you recognize that.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell her right now. Like so, we each have her 3 days a week, and we split Sundays. I'm like, so I have her half a day. She goes, the big kids, they go back to her house the rest of the half of the day. And I'm like, you need to go. You arguing with your mom and then running to me makes it look like either one, I'm doing something wrong,
Or
or
two,
you
you
just don't
on
like
the
your
side.
mom.
No,
And
or
it
two,
hurts.
you on the side. She think, she run into you because she think she on your side.
Yeah.
On
And
her
you and Albaz, you doing the right thing, brother. Like,
I'm
because
trying.
it's funny. Kids are very manipulative. I mean, my oldest is my technically my stepdaughter, but I mean I've raised her since she was 8 months, right?
Right.
And it took a long time for everybody in the relationship to understand that kids are manipulative, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
It's more convenient for them.
They will work what's convenient for them. Correct. And so they are smart human beings. You know what I mean? So what you're doing right now is I commend you for it, because it's like, nah, you got to handle that relationship with your mom, whether you agree with what she's doing or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a good
that's
job,
the battle.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Remember, just like in every relationship, stay liquid, man.
Yep.
Stay liquid. Don't even, just let that just go right around.
He
Keep on.
probably wanted to smoke cream cheese, though, Rodney. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And not them raggedy ass hot dogs or hamburgers. You know what I mean?
I meant to ask him after he ate that Nigerian food, how long did it take till you went to the bathroom?
And I haven't ate it yet, man.
You haven't ate it yet?
No, I do. I just bought that shit Friday. So I got the fufu, and then I got the all stuff for the chicken stew.
Okay.
So chicken stew, fufu.
What day you making it so me and Vance can already,
head up to West Virginia.
Probably gonna be Friday. Yeah, right. Probably be Friday.
I drove right through. How far are you from Charlestown? What is it? Hollywood Casino.
Charlestown.
Yeah.
Charlestown. 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh man, we should have came and saw you there because we drove right through there coming back from Philly. But anyway, but going. So last thing. This is the last thing about that. Well, I'm gonna ask y'all a few more questions, but this is the last note that I had about what you call this. It was what he called the 5 pillars of marriage, and it's if you build your marriage on these 5 things, and truly build your marriage on these 5 things, then you should have a successful marriage. And one, and unfortunately, I'm be honest with you, he didn't even get to finish these last all 5 explaining them to us. So I'm gonna give you my best definition of the last 2. But the first one is love, and then he broke down the differences between being in love and loving someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if I had to do that to, break it down to y'all, but the difference in love and loving someone is the you can feel like you're in love with someone, but it can go away. When you love someone, it can't go away. It's unconditional.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's even notes of marriages that are broken up, and they became better friends once they broke up. Once they broke up, than they did when they were in the marriage, because they still loved each other, but they weren't in love with each other. But to have a successful marriage, you have to love that person and be in love with that person. But and be in love with that person for it to work. But love is something that you can have without being in love with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was trust was the next thing, and he broke down. Now that I wish I could break it down the way he did, because he broke down trust in so many different levels. But the main reason to trust is trust, and then respect, which is a huge thing in a lot of relationships. Because once you lose respect for each other, then it's destined to crumble. And understanding was the next one, because you have to. Understanding is a tough one. It was a tough one for me when he said it, because you could think you understand what's going on, but you don't. So it could be like a false kind of like a false thing there. You think you understand, but you don't understand. But, it's just getting that understanding for a person that eventually you get to that point where you trust them enough that you understand that they're going to do the right thing, even if you don't understand what's going on. So but you got to have the trust first, because if you don't got trust, you ain't gonna have understanding. You know what I'm saying? Or trust and respect. So they all lead, and then last is faith. And faith, he broke down, and I'm gonna just try to explain it the hardest way. Faith is very hard because in order to have faith, you can't have doubt. Doubt and faith can't be in the same room together. And faith is something that you have to give without seeing. So you have to have faith in your husband or wife that she's going to go out and not cheat on you, which also goes back to trust. You have to have faith that this person is always going to have your best interest at hand, even though they're not. And even if they don't, and something goes wrong, you have to have faith that God is in control. And he's not going to put anything in front of you that you can't handle. So that's where, faith comes in all those steps. And if you have all 5 of those steps, then you should have a successful marriage. So that's love, trust, respect, understanding, and faith. So I don't know if y'all have anything you want to add to that, or anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, man, I agree with all of them. So, I mean, and they all intertwine. You know what I mean? So it's the faith is what a lot of people drop off in the end. And respect is another thing. So those 2 things, especially for men. I mean, men, when they feel not respected, you know what I'm saying, it impacts every other aspect of that.
But that goes back to the basic need.
Yeah, it does.
Like what was the basic need? The basic need for a man is significance. And significance to me is very close to respect. Like, I need to feel like I'm respected, or I'm significant in the situation. Because if I'm leading, I'll tell you, I'll give you a thing that I said to my wife the other day when we was talking. I said, look, I look at it, we're in a car together. I need you to be in the passenger seat and help me get to where I'm going, but I don't need you to tell me how to drive. I'm saying, you got to let me drive, but you can help me get to where I'm going. Like, you can navigate, like you make a right here. This is the way we're trying to get here. I need you can make a right here, make a left. You can even navigate, but you don't have to teach me how to, you're not going to tell me how to drive. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you're going to tell me slower, faster. You got to get there. Just telling me how to drive. What's wrong with you? Where you going? You don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That type of situation. I want you to be in the car with me. You can navigate. You can help me get there, but you don't need to tell me how to drive. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I broke that whole understanding down. Anyway, you got anything about that, Albans? We're gonna build your next marriage on love, trust, respect, understanding, and faith. That sound like a plan?
I'm about to go on faith on that one, because I did all the others, and so I'm gonna have to go with faith. I'm gonna have to start going to church, giving my 10%, and then see what that leaves me.
Hey,
10% ain't never think of it as a percentage, out, man.
How about this?
I got you.
Give what you please, brother.
I have faith that God's going to put that right woman in your path.
Man, sound like he got the right woman right now with Nigerian and
Ethiopia. Don't jinx it, man. Don't jinx it. We're going
I'll tell you what, like, I didn't,
even though Albans,
I didn't see it coming, but I hope so.
It had a lot to do with his wife. I believe Albans had a part of that too. It wasn't just her.
I believe that too. Albans are. I mean, in the weeks that we've been on with this show, I can tell Albans has his, asshole issues. So you know what I mean. You know what I mean. He fell asleep on the show, stuff like that. You know what I mean. Yeah.
He clearly doesn't respect us as host at our time.
No.
Snoring, and, you know.
That was a shit show. First off, and then I try to watch Chicken Little.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So like Albaz, we already know where you're coming from.
Right. Hey, producer Ev, when we get off, I need you to go back to that episode and get.
No, you don't. No,
and get the snoring. Please get the snoring.
And send it to me so I can put it on here because that night is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, so now we're gonna ask a few questions, just a few questions. What do you feel your basic need is for whoever it is, your wife or girlfriend or whatever? What do you feel is your basic need?
My basic need, honestly, is and it's a love language for you guys that are into understanding love languages of marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's words of affirmation. Like I need to be told by my wife that I am upholding my side of the relationship. Right? Wow. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be like, even though I know I am, I need it to be recognized. It can be recognized by you, Rodney, Albaz, Everett. It can be recognized by the world. But if it's not recognized by her, it means nothing to me. So that's the one thing that is key to, and she knows this, so which is good. But that's the one thing that I need in my relationship with my wife.
All right, Albans.
What I need in my relationship?
What's your basic need? Your basic need that you need in your relationship?
Oh, mine's gonna be just straight, simple loyalty. That's it. Yeah.
All right. And what's loyalty? And what does loyalty look like to you?
Loyalty is cut and dry, man. It's being faithful, it's being honest, it's fucking, honestly, that's a basic too. But just being there, I mean, that their loyalty to you is not giving 1% to someone else.
Yeah. Explain that. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, no, I get it.
It's good.
I get it. For me, mine is physical touch. I'm very much a physical touch guy. Like I said, my day can be horrible. If you're naked, we about to have sex. I'm happy. I'm just a good day to me. I don't care what happened earlier that day, but it's still for me. It streams further than that. Like if my wife gets up and all this, I also have felt it stems to my abandonment issue. As long as you're touching me, I know you're not gone. So even for me, like when we're in the bed and my wife puts her foot on me, or I can feel a part of her body on me, I'm most comfortable. When she gets up in the morning before she leaves to work, I have to have a hug and a kiss. Like if you leave me without a hug and a kiss, I'm distraught. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even that physical touch is even more than just sex. But sex is definitely great. So
that's like the other day when you told me she checked your prostate. Like that was one of the things.
Hey, look, physical touch. The only one that can do two fingers.
I'm getting my prostate checked. Yeah. At least I didn't run out the office because she had a trash can full of gloves. I didn't run out the office. You know what I'm saying?
And a picture of the family. Don't forget that.
You know what I'm saying? A hug, a kiss, and a finger. That's what she gets.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's not gay if it's your wife. You know?
Just don't make eye contact.
Yeah. Foreplay. Yeah, exactly.
Eye contact.
No eye contact. You know. Just gently rub my shoulders. That's what you need to tell your. That's what you need to tell your doctor when you go next time.
Right.
Your checkup.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you got two hands on your shoulders, and you're like, "Where's the finger coming from?"
No, it's worth. See, what you need to do is you need to research your doctor and find like the tiniest Asian lady Not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say nothing racist. Sorry, the tiniest lady.
You already did.
Asian.
All right.
But yeah, and make sure you check her fingers to make sure she got them little hands before you go in there and be like, yeah, by the way, can you go ahead and check this this so-called this prostate? And then she probably call in
Then
like
all of a sudden
or something. She'd be like,
all of a sudden you have a fifth up there.
So she'd be like, hold on, let me call an injury. This dude comes in.
She's checking with her whole hand. She got her hand spread. She up here.
Oh, you got toxins. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing that accent.
Oh, damn. Yep.
Nah, I had that happen to me when I did that. I did that the couples massage on the cruise. And I had this little Asian lady, and she come on saying, "Oh, you have so many toxins," and she was whooping my ass in that on that massage, man. I was so upset when I got out of there. I told my wife, "I'm never doing that again," because I couldn't complain because she was only like 3'2", and she was punishing me on that table, son.
Yeah, and you dropping bows on you and shit. Yeah. Fuck that.
Exactly. I was like, "Nah, I'm good with that." Anyway, all right. So now, I mean, we kind of answered this, but I wrote it down, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it. What do you feel is your deal breaker that you have expressed to your other person? Without infidelity. I'm going to take away infidelity because that's the easy one. No,
I mean, that's really my only deal breaker.
No other deal breakers?
All right. I can deal with everything else.
Yeah, that's tough, yeah.
Man, I can forgive. I can forgive a lot. So,
yeah,
because
I mean, you can forgive it, but what if? I mean, for me, I guess my deal breaker would be that well, I mean, because she ain't gotta cheat on you to not want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to take the constant abuse from a person who's not apologetic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if if it gets to that point or something's up with it, it's just not no respect, but just no caring at all. Like, she just shooting off at the mouth and doing whatever and being disrespectful and this, that, and the other. The person has to be, I guess, wanting to be forgiven or willing to do the work according to what they did to be forgiven.
Yeah.
The marriage retreat, as y'all can hear, I learned a lot of nuggets. Everybody still here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I learned a lot of nuggets. Yeah, I learned a lot of nuggets and a lot of great things. And I just want to give a shout out to Elevate Church. Also give a shout out to the gentleman who led it, Preston William II, and his wife Kathy, because let me tell you, if you left that place the same person, I can't imagine it. Because even me, I was hard. I felt hard and upset when I got there. Like, I didn't think there was nothing that could happen that would make me change any of my opinions. And it did. It definitely did. So they did a great job. It was excellent. And just, I just want to give that shout out real quick before we go to that next subject. So, Lamar Jackson signed a 5-year contract for $260 million, $185 million guaranteed. With no what's the joint? What's the name called? Agent. With no agent.
No professional.
No professional agent.
Professional qualified agent.
Do you feel like the day of the agent is dying?
No, I do not feel like that.
All right, why?
Because everybody ain't Lamar Jackson.
True.
That's the first thing. You know what I mean? Everybody isn't a player of that particular caliber, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'll be straight up, like 95% of the kids that are out there need agents to represent them with these professional teams, right? There are some one-offs. You know what I mean? LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, wasn't an agent, although he went to school and did everything he needed to do and learned the business and thrived in the business. I don't necessarily believe that is a good option for every kid that comes out of college sports into professional sports, because there are some agents out there that are working deals for kids that don't deserve deals that they got, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, Lamar's situation is a little bit different in the fact that he was highly touted out of college and, you know what I'm saying, high school for that matter, and going into the pros. Some people think that, you know what I'm saying, it was a negative. I mean, you heard throughout the last 6 to 8 months the media crushing Lamar for not having a professional agent and allowing his mom to do it. So I don't believe that I don't believe that the agents are a bad thing for these athletes because they do produce a lot of positive things for athletes that aren't on the status of Lamar.
All right. Everett, how you feel about it?
I can't hear you, Everett.
Can't hear you.
My check, Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the age not gonna die. If not everybody is Lamar Jackson, just like Van said. If I think the one thing that people have to look out for is the ability to like really mess up your deal in this case, right? Because Lamar Jackson could have got the deal, and then we find out that there's something inside his contract that's like really messed up. Like, you know, like even if they can like figure out option that you can sign into like forcibly, you can't go look, you can't trade, you can't do this, can't do that. We don't know yet. And maybe in the future too, that might happen to other players as well, because you know the teams are going to look out for themselves, not the players, for the most part anyway. So, I think you know the verdict is to be seen, but you know we were all happy for him. You know, he's the highest paid quarterback ever now, so you know, good for him. But I guess you got to see what the clauses are.
Yeah, he's the highest paid player in the NFL right now.
Oh, player, okay.
Yeah. But nah, I got you. But here's my. I just giving a little. I guess I'm not gonna say devil's advocate, but I feel that much like the music business, the NFL for a long time, even agents were all part of one big old good old boy ring. So
for sure.
And I feel like now players are smarter that they're not taking, because a lot of times, you know, you see like even the movie Jerry Maguire, like these guys are working not all the time are they working for the player. They're actually, in my opinion, a lot of them are working for the NFL. So they're there to just make deals happen that aren't always the max money you could possibly get. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe there are agents that are there 100% for the player. But I'm willing to bet that I would say 80% of agents work more for the NFL than they do for the player. You have those max players like your Lamars or like your Tom Brady's or whoever who are the top of the chain that maybe their agent is just for them. But then you have all the rest of the NFL where they tell you, oh, you don't got an agent? Here's one. Oh, you don't got a lawyer? Here's one. Yeah. And that's the same thing they do in the music industry with a lot of artists that artists are learning now, that, you know, when they get a rap artist and they sign them, they're like, oh, you don't have a lawyer? Here's one. And that lawyer's their lawyer. Oh, you don't have an accountant? Here's one. And that accountant's their accountant. I remember that one of the biggest things Jay-Z said, well, Nelly taught Jay-Z. No, Jay-Z taught Nelly, sorry. And then Nelly taught, I think it was Chamillionaire. And then Chamillionaire said he used it to get out of his deal because he audited the record company. After they gave him his lawyer, this, that, another, blah, 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 he went and found Jay-Z's auditor and audited the record company and found $10 million that they hid from him off of one song, one album. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of the agents in the NFL are the same way. They're just doing deals to help the NFL more than they are to help that player. So now, whether I think agents are going to die, but I think you're going to start getting a lot more players who are smarter than using the agents that you would have saw with the good old boys in the last 10, 15 years. There's going to be more of the LeBron's cousins who went to school and start learning. There's going to be more of agents who work for these guys who's going to take on these smaller guys who are going to do everything for the player. That's how I feel. But that's
I'll even add that sometimes I don't even think the agent is necessary. Because if I'm the number one pick in this year's draft, right? But they want me to come play for this league anyway. What do I need this agent for? I'm not going to sign nothing. I'm not going to do anyway. You know.
I kind of missed you. You was like going in and out for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying because if I'm the number one draft pick in the league, right, this year's draft, the teams want me to come play for them regardless.
Yeah.
So I guess
that contract is already done. That contract is done already. There's no arguing about that one.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, why do I even need this if this deal's already done? And I'm not going to sign it if it's not to my favor anyway.
Well, the draft, the number one, if I remember correctly, the number one draft pick, I think like the top 10 are all already their salary, their starting salaries and everything are done before they even get there. There's no changing no matter who that person is. I think that's already orchestrated, if I'm correct. Vance, you know about that?
It's part of the first round picks are pre-negotiated.
Yeah. What the agent for?
Yeah. So that came with their CBA a couple years back. And in all honesty, the thing about when it comes to the agents, I somewhat agree with you, Rodney, that, you know what I'm saying, it's definitely a good old boy network. And I think the agents are in it for themselves. Maybe not in it for the NFL, but they're definitely in it for themselves. As would any agent be. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them for it. I think where the agents come into perspective is you know what I'm saying, endorsement deals. They also help with those and so forth. And not to say that Lamar's mom and the people that are representing him can't do that as well, because they can. I just think it's different for Lamar, you know what I'm saying, because of his status. You know what I mean? And I think that because for every Lamar, there are 30 guys on every team that wouldn't be on the team without an agent. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be real with you. Either they don't have the resources, or they don't know the people, or they're not even good enough to be on the team, that the agent worked out the deal, right? So I'm with you on what you're saying in a reference to the music industry. I think these kids are getting smarter in what they're signing. And I also agree with Everett. You don't know the intricacies of the deal. If it's something that was missed, could have been missed, that an agent would have clearly defined in the deal. But I would think that him being the highest paid, there was some sort of professional review in this particular deal. So
I'm definitely sure he had somebody look at that contract.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had that. Yeah.
He ain't gonna read the contract and be like, "Oh, sounds good to me."
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do that. So, but there's something key about this whole agent thing.
All right, listen.
The key thing is that the money never left the family.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? His mom is clearing $7 or $8 million out of this deal.
7.6 million.
Yeah. Right. So, and that's what I want people to really, really understand, is that, let's say push comes to shove, you know what I'm saying? Him doing his deal with who he dealt it with his mom, or with who represented him, he kept his money inside the family. Yeah. You know what I mean? So regardless if Lamar's successful, regardless of his mom, if he gets paid a dime, his mom is always going to be set because of that. And it's the same way with Rich Paul and LeBron. Because the money's within the family or within the circle, You know what I mean? That is what the good old boys that Rodney's talking about, that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So he reversed that role.
Their nephew is the lawyer. Their nephew is
correct. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So it's like that's what's so smart and fascinating to me. Yeah. It's like the fact that he kept the money within the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's understanding. I knew it, but I never really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. And that's gonna go a long ways.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, she's gonna get paid on all his endorsements too.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt. Like the money never leaves the circle. Like we always talk about we always talk about community money and you know what I'm saying, Jewish money and all of that. The Jewish dollar never touches anything that's not Jewish.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? The black dollar touches everything that's not black.
True.
You know what I mean? The white dollar touches everything that's white. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like for us as minorities, you know what I'm saying, like keeping the money within our race and keeping the money within, you know what I'm saying, our communities, that's where you really start making progress. That's why they tore down the richest black cities in Tulsa and the South and all of that. Because even in New York, because the money was circulated amongst our community. And that's what people gotta understand.
Central Park was a black town.
Yeah, and the funny thing is it's a plantation in Georgia right now that's under legal battle because they want to hold World War II reenactments, and not World War II, Civil War reenactments on this particular plantation. And the state of Georgia is trying to take the property from a black family that has owned the property for over 100 years via the case of eminent domain. Wow. So the state is trying to take the land, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? Because that money has been in their circle. This particular black family has rented the land back to the state for over 40 some years. They have museums, they have all types of stuff on their land, and the state of Georgia is trying to take it from them. Huh?
You might have to send me that article.
I will.
All right. Well, let's. I do want to say real quick because I know you are a Commanders, aka Redskins fan.
No.
You're not a fan no more. All right, we done with that.
Man, I'm impartial right now, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy they're selling. I just want to be happy that they selling. and we'll see what happened after that. I'm. But they've been asking, how do you feel that, number one lead person is the guy who owns the Philadelphia 76ers and the Blackhawks?
Yeah. I mean, you see that throughout ownership, you know what I mean? Like the fact, they're going to have the minority owners are going to be, you know what I'm saying, in play. I mean, yeah, I think everybody knows Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. And that Magic Johnson thing is more for community. You know what I'm saying, and the local jurisdictions, so that he can lobby.
I know his theater suck around.
Yeah, it's all about money. You know what I'm saying, and him being able to get new stadiums and everything else. But whether or not he owns the Commanders and or the Sixers, I mean, there are a lot of people that own different sports franchises in different cities. So I think that it's. But let's call a spade a spade.
I don't listen.
Do you think Daniel Snyder is mad that he had an investment of $700 million
and he's leaving with $8?
Yeah, he's making 5 points and he's making $6 billion. You think he cares who he sells this team to?
I don't know. Nah, not at all.
Not exactly. Like we made him rich. Yeah. And he didn't even have to give us a product.
He was rich before that. He was making, and he made profit off of the Redskins. It wasn't like the Redskins were failing.
That's what I'm saying.
Making the money. He was making money off of them too. And he would still be there if he wasn't cooking the books.
Correct.
If he cooked the books, he'd still be there, even with the culture and everything else.
And all of that. And like the cooking the books was like the final say. And the only reason it was the final say is because he was cooking the books within the circle.
Yeah, he got
right?
caught
He
by
was
the
cooking
owners.
the profit sharing of the
Yeah,
NFL.
yeah, he got
So
caught
the
by the
other
owners.
owners is
Yeah,
like, bro,
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
rough money from us. Like you can rough money from whoever you want.
We don't care about what you're doing over there except for that. That's the only thing we care about.
Yeah.
Every you Commanders fan, Everett? I don't think
I'm not a Commanders fan. I used to be a long time Redskins fan. I stopped being a Redskins fan like 4 years ago. But
okay.
I will say this. I hope that the culture of the Sixers somehow creep into this franchise because that would be nice for a change to have something to root for. At least you have like a
Talking about the
culture.
76ers ain't great.
The 76ers are in the playoffs. At least the 76ers got people on the team. When the last time we've done something? When the last time, like I'm talking about like the Griffin era, right? The Griffin era had so much hope. When the last time that happened?
Oh, I got you, but I'm just saying it ain't like the 76ers or the Lakers
The
or something like
76ers are
that.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the
got-
76ers are consistently in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
Okay.
And they
consistently
built
have
their
names
team.
and people
Basketball
and coaches.
is a lot easier to get in the playoffs, in my opinion, than football. I'm gonna go ahead and let it go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
I
I
just have two wishes: go get RFK back and then build around RFK.
Oh yeah, if they get RFK back,
there.
they do that back, then I'm 100% a fan again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back over there.
That's Magic Johnson. That's Magic Johnson, bro. And it ain't gonna be at RFK. Just by the way, I'll tell y'all that now.
Yeah,
everybody always wants it in the city.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at the Harbor, bro.
I thought
National Harbor.
Yeah. The infrastructure's already there.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
And then it becomes a huge place to be too. Did you hear what's his name? Brian. Did y'all hear that Brian Davis joint? What's his name?
Yeah.
Brian Davis talked about he was gonna buy for $7, and then he was gonna invest $2.6 billion. And then was gonna invest $2.6 billion. And did you hear what he said? He wanted to put a retractable roof on the stadium that is there now, and build a man-made beach, and like put a Great Wolf Lodge there or something. Or originally, he according to what he said, is he was trying to buy a Venture World too, or whatever the fuck it's called now, Six Flags. Yeah. But I mean,
wait. A man-made beach where it is now?
Yeah, he wanted to put a man-made beach there where it's at now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay.
That's what he said. It was the craziest and oddest
that sounds like
interview I ever heard.
Yeah, I mean he got some high hopes for that Landover area. I mean, the thing about it is there's land over there that's being bidded right now for federal government too. So because you got FBI still trying to move. Yeah. So you know what I mean, and FBI coming to PG County would be outstanding. But
they said it would be a $2 billion project.
Wow. It would.
Yeah. And all our houses would go up.
They would skyrocket.
Yeah, they would go up. All our houses go up. They said they would completely tear down Forestville and rebuild it.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, shoot, I just need a Best Buy closer than where it is right now.
Right.
That'll make my day. But anyway, hey fellas, it was a good show. I appreciate y'all hanging out today. I appreciate you pitch hitting for us today, Everett. And
no problem.
It was a good episode. I'm happy with it, and I think that this will be a great one that anybody should listen to and hopefully learn something today, because I definitely learned something, like I said, from that trip. It was a great thing. I did want to say one thing ending, I also learned about forgiveness, because I have a problem with forgiving people. But the biggest thing that he told me is, if God can forgive me for all the crazy things that I've did in my life, then I should be able to forgive anybody else for anything they've done to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, that's a good thing. So, just remember, forgiveness starts. And then he also told me I had to first start with forgiving myself. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and then they will forgive you. So just put that out there for everybody as a thought of the week. And, this is us at Dad Mentality. You can reach us at all the platforms under dad_mentality. Your brother learned how to do reels this week, so I'm gonna be dropping more reels. And matter of fact, right after this, I'm gonna hop on and get a couple games in. And you can catch me on the Beast One on Twitch and hang out with us. Vance, you got anything? You been good, brother?
Nah, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for the conversation this week. Helped out a lot.
Absolutely. Help me too. Thank you. Everett, you good? Anything you want to say?
I'm
You got
good,
anything
man.
to throw out there? What's up
Nah,
with your podcast you getting ready to start with
Oh, we haven't
what?
made any final decisions yet. I think I talked to her, but yeah, they're coming.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
keep us up. We love to be guests, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. But you know, this is the Beast One, Coach Everett, and also Al Bands dealing with his family situation. God bless and good night.
All right, have a good one.